Hello, this is Jeff, Lorena, and Whiskey somewhere over there with Back to Country.
Yep, welcome back, folks. If you're new to the channel, Lorena and I are building a homestead literally from the dirt up. This adventure started for us about 10 years ago almost. In
Yes.
2012, when we purchased 100 acres of basically clear-cut pine plantation, timberland, and we decided that in the future we wanted to make it our homestead. So 5 years later, in 2017, I retired from the military and we began really working on this, and we started by moving thousands of yards of dirt to build a pad that we could then later begin building our starter home, I guess you'd say, and our shop, so that we could use the shop to further develop the property and build our future home. So the first big thing is building this shop, and this is really the beginning of our series on this shop building. Our intent is not to tell people how to do it. It's to tell people how we did it, to share the lessons learned along the way, and
Our mistakes.
our mistakes
Our
as well as our successes. And basically, we hope it helps somebody else. I can tell you that it's been a challenge every step of the way. I mean, I guess we got to start with the beginning of why we got a metal building and everything. So I'll tell you that when we first started thinking about what we needed to build, of course, to me a shop was important, and putting a living quarters in that shop was an easier solution. We currently live in San Antonio, Texas, and the property is in East Texas, and it takes us 7 to 8 hours drive to get here, so it's not like we can come here and work on weekends or anything like that. So to me, building a house right out of the gate was not a good option, because it would be unsupervised, unattended. People could come up here and steal whatever. Just didn't really seem like a good option to us. So the first thing that we really wanted to think about is, how do we make the transition of getting out of the city and up here full time, hence back to country. And the building a big shop and putting a living quarters in that just seemed to be a good way to do it. So as we began to explore shops and how to do that, I mean, we considered everything from pole barn to Quonset huts to I don't know, different types of metal buildings. There's a lot of different types. You've got things like Versatube and in the end, we went with a steel building kit. I started by looking at some classified ads that were out there for steel buildings, and was attracted to the idea of getting a kit. Unfortunately, that turned out to be, in my opinion, the bait and switch. So metal building outlets, they've got a website where they advertise classifieds of metal buildings, and the idea is that they're buildings that people have purchased and either never took delivery, or they took delivery and then for whatever reason plans changed or whatever, and they never got to the point that they could erect the building. So you could theoretically buy those buildings at a discount. So I called the company on that and talked to them, and basically every building that was appealing was already supposedly sold, gone, whatever, yet they were still all up on the website. And the buildings that were available were basically brand new buildings that supposedly were receiving some kind of factory discount. I don't know. My opinion on it is all BS, and it was a bait and switch. So they tell you, you talk to a salesman. First off, the classifieds, you don't call the people, you call the company, and they immediately put you with a salesman to sell you a building. And you know, I went ahead and talked to a salesman, told him exactly what I wanted. We got a 50 by 100 building. 20 foot of that is an open area, so like a porch. So 50 by 80 enclosed. They designed the building on their software, sent me the you know, basic layout of it. I made corrections, whatever, and then they put that out for bid. So they go out to all kinds of steel building manufacturers that they work with. Bless you.
Excuse me.
And they get bids. So while they were getting bids, I was also getting bids, and I went out to many companies on the internet, every place I could find that made metal buildings, and basically gave the same design and put out for bids. And you know, that was I don't know, an interesting process. I got a lot of bids back, and
some of them were much higher than we wanted to pay for.
Yeah,
and
so part of the problem is we were also in this during a time when steel has just been skyrocketing, so that created another problem. I mean, originally you see these ads and stuff all over the internet for metal buildings, and they tell you, oh, you know, you get a 50 by 100 for $35,000, blah blah blah. That's all fake. I didn't find a single company that offered anything even close to those prices, even that when that was their advertised deal. And I, you know, so if you look just at steel, a 50 by 100 building fully enclosed with one door on each end would theoretically be more expensive than what I purchased, because we got 3 doors. So anytime you get a door, that's an open space and less steel. Then we got an open area on the end, which again, that's 20 foot of 10 and girts that aren't there. So I don't know, I just think it's a scam that they put these prices out, and then when you go for bid and something that should be cheaper, you know, not expecting it to be cheaper, expecting it to be, you know, comparative, and then they come back, you know, $30,000 higher than what their ad says. In my opinion, every ad out there for metal buildings is a scam. It's just to get you to call their salespeople so they can talk to you and design what you want. So the best thing you can do, in my opinion, is go out and get bids from everybody. Just every place you can find, get bids. So although I've talked bad about Metal Building Outlet, that's actually who we bought our building from. And the reason we bought the building from them is because they came in with the lowest bid. Basically, I asked for the same design from everybody, and the designs I got back were the same. There may have been some minor differences, but overall, they were the same. And literally, they came back 10 to 20,000 or more lower than the other bidders. So I think our bid came back around 55,000, and you know, that was good, considering the timing and everything. And then once we agreed that that's who we were going to buy it from, let me talk a little bit more about that Metal Building Outlet. My interpretation is they are a broker. So they deal with tons of companies that make metal buildings. They have standing agreements, whatever. And, you know, they use probably their own engineers and everything, do the plans, whatever. And then they send the plans to the manufacturer, who then manufactures the building to spec. And then, of course, they work delivery and all that stuff. So I think that's what they do. We called... I'm not going to name all the companies, but we called all the name brand companies, and I'll tell you, some of the name brand companies, you're paying for the name because they were a lot more expensive.
Maybe like 30,000 more, right?
Yeah, some of them actually were come back around 30,000. And when I told them, look, I already am looking to make a deal with somebody, and I told them the price, once they heard the price that I was getting, they never even called me back. They said, okay, well, let us look at that and we'll see what we can do. And I never heard from them again, which meant they couldn't come close to it. So I felt like we got the best price available for the time. I've been happy with the product. The product was actually manufactured by Rigid Global Buildings out of Houston, Texas. It's a reputable company. Now, I don't know if I would have gone directly to them. Would my price have been better or not? I don't know. Excuse me. But in the end, I think we got a good price. So there's my advice on getting the building. Go out. First off, decide what you want. Now, you can go to, like, I will say a name brand, Mueller, which is a very, very popular company. They have great buildings. It's not a bad product. I'm not bad-mouthing them at all. The only thing negative I got to say about them is the price was much higher. But their website, you can literally go to their website and design your building on their website. They'll take that design that you do yourself. They'll, then bid on it based on that, but you get a copy of that design, which you can then use kind of to go on and say, this is what I want. And so you can then talk through it with other companies to help them get to the same point. You don't send them the plans or anything like that. It's just a matter of sharing the design plan. It just gives you a program that's out there that you can visualize, what you want. So once you decide what you want, then, like I say, find every company you can and go out and get bids. And, compare the design plans and everything. If somebody's giving you something different, then know what you're getting different. But get those plans, and then make your decision based on what you want and how much you're willing to spend, or maybe the lowest bidder isn't what you really want. Maybe you want a company that's more hands-on. So one thing I'll tell you about this building that we got, we didn't get like a how-to guide. There's no instructions. We got engineering plans, and those engineering plans are complex. And I have spent literally hours in those plans, basically figuring out, for example, when I bolt two pieces together, which bolt do I use? Because I got bags of different bolts. Now, they're all numbered and packaged to tell you what they are and everything by size and by type. Normally you would think grade 5, grade 8. So that's basically what this is, grade 5 or grade 8. Once you start to figure it out, it becomes easier. But in the beginning, it's a whole lot of flipping pages and trying to figure out how to read those plans and how to get to the level of detail that you need. And of course, we're not even done yet. We're coming near the end of the framing phase. But then we've got to start putting up 10, and then we go to trim. And so who knows how challenging that's going to be. But I'm pretty confident that we'll get through it, and that in the end, I think we're going to be real happy with the building that we've got. Yes. I'm happy with the quality of the steel and how it goes together, the design, everything. I got no complaints. I will say that once we ordered the building, then we had to wait because there was a backlog on steel and everything. And while we were waiting, the price literally went up like $6,000.
Yes. So
in the end, we ended up paying $65,000 for the kit delivered. That was tax, everything out the door. I want to say, I think the original was like 54, maybe it was 54, and then there was that, I don't know, it went up like $6,000, $6,500. Yeah. I remember, and it actually went up a lot more than that, but because this is absolutely, according to them, never happened before, the manufacturer covered some of it, the building outlet covered some of it, and that 6,000 or 6,500, I don't remember off the top of my head what it was, that was our portion. And then we had to decide, okay, do we just pay it If we canceled, we were still responsible to pay the engineer hours and stuff that had already been spent. And another option was we could wait and kind of just sit in the background and wait for steel prices to come back down. Well, we don't know if they'll ever come back down, so waiting to us was not a good option.
No.
And you know, this is already, I'd say, 6 months ago, and steel prices have not come down yet. They've gone up, as a matter of fact. So that wasn't a good option either. So we went ahead and just sucked it up and paid the money, and you know, took delivery. So
but wait, at one point we started talking to each other, and we'd say, okay, what are we gonna do when we have all these options to choose from? And at one point we said, you know what happened if we just go and find a small house, you know, so we can move everything there, and you know, decide later on when the prices come down, we can go ahead and start. And so we went and looked houses around, and we almost bid in one house, and because the market is good right now, you know, you sell your house right away. You know, the house that we were looking at, it was in front of the lake of the Pines, and it sold within hours. So we say, okay, it wasn't for us, so let's go ahead and you know, follow our dream and stick with our plan to build the shop.
yeah, I think we had a little divine intervention there that you know, God kept us on the right track, and
Amen.
We got an idea to do something different, and it looked good for the moment, and you know, that opportunity was taken away literally
within hours.
within hours before we could even react. And you know, we took that as a message, and we just said, okay, we'll just stay the course. And so we did, and we went ahead and ordered the building, and I think we're good now. I mean, it's moving forward. Well, I'll tell you, we're way over budget, and if I didn't mention before, we're doing all this debt free. So basically, this is 100% our life savings being spent on all this, and you know, we're kind of coming to the end of all that savings, and there's still a lot more to be done. So we're kind of slowing down because we do have income, retirement income, and we don't live extravagantly, so that income, we can save that every month, and we do, and you know, so we save up for each thing as we go along. If we get into a position where, hey, we need to order this or that, and we don't have enough cash, then the answer is, well, then we slow down and we keep working on other stuff, and we keep saving until we get there. But we still have some big expenditures ahead. I mean, we did the slab, and the slab 50 by 80, kind of show you here. So that's a 50 by 80, but it was a special design because, you know, I've got some heavy equipment and stuff, and want to keep playing with that, so to speak, and being able to work on it. It's all old stuff, and so I want to be able to bring equipment into this shop if I need to. So the half of the building, what I'll call the shop portion, where I would literally pull vehicles in and out, that's much heavier duty than the rest of the slab. So the living quarters part of the slab is 4-inch slab, and the heavy duty part is 6-inch, and that's also on the heavy duty side, it's heavier rebar. I think it's 3/8 rebar and 1/2-inch rebar, and the spacing is 14-inch and 18-inch, so 18-inch on the light duty side. So, you know, just things like that we put into the design, and then the piers, of course, for the open area, the last columns down on the end, you know. So that was all a unique design. We were able to get that done for $28,500. And then I had some more expenses for the plumbing. I didn't have time to do the plumbing myself because these guys literally were ready to go to work and do this slab so fast. I was originally intending to do some of the prep work myself, but you know, they were ready and available, and they did the whole thing in a few days. So there wasn't no time for me to do anything really and learn or whatever. So we hired somebody to do the plumbing, and then of course we had to buy all the anchor bolts and stuff. That's not, so when you order the building, you get the building. The now maybe some of the folks, different companies provide the anchor bolts. Ours did not, so we had to go out and buy all the anchor bolts separate. And I want to say that was around $700 for the anchor bolts and everything, all the different stuff we needed there. And then another, I think, cost me $1,000 for the plumbing, rough in and all that. So you know, it's adding up quick, and we're making mods, and so that's been some more money. So I mean, I originally budgeted thinking I could do this for $100,000, and
oh boy, you were wrong.
Yes, I was so wrong. Based on the fake advertisements and everything out there, it looked doable, but in the end that turned out all to be lies. And so, you know, now we live with it, and we just keep rolling along, and it's only money.
Yes, and we have faith that, you know, in God, that He will help us, and He is all this.
And I would much rather have this building and this property and everything done than cash. You know, the value of the dollar plummets every day, so this appreciates and gains value. Not to mention the value it has to us with the sense of accomplishment and you know, just being here and not in the city. So I don't know, that's so that's, I guess that's the big points on, you know, if you want to do a metal building, decide what you want, get the design, the rough designs, you know, figure it out. You can even do a drawing yourself. Probably the most common and cheapest, not cheapest, but just middle of the road metal buildings seem to be a 40 by 60. 40 by 60 is the most common measurement I see out there, and those are your base level buildings that normally have a pretty good price point. So if you're not tied to a giant building, I wanted a giant building for many reasons. Mainly because I like to work on stuff, and I've always wanted a big shop. I got lots of tools, and I want to be able to spread my stuff out and do projects, and just enjoy having a nice shop to work in. And then of course we put a living quarters in it as well, so that's, you know, had to account for that space as well. And so we ended up with the 50 by 100, but it's a big building, you know. Go big or go home, right? So you got to decide that, though. What do you want? What do you need? And, you know, if you have enough property or whatever, then maybe it's an option that you buy a smaller building, and maybe in the future you can expand. I mean, we've already got plans for expansion just by taking a couple of our shipping containers and putting a roof over the center of it, spreading them out, and, you know, creating a covered work area that we can do some other things with. So we got tons of plans for the property and everything, and we'll be, you know, continuously going over that and sharing in the future as we continue to build and expand and grow and develop. But yeah, you got to decide what works for you, what your needs are, what you want. Once you come up with that plan, that's your starting point, and then go out and get bids, and trust no one. Get bids from every place you possibly can, and compare the bids, and you're gonna see that they're gonna be, in many cases, thousands of dollars apart. So it amazes me that the companies provide a very similar product, because the plans are not that different, and from what I've looked at in other buildings and stuff, the designs are very much the same for all of them. I mean, your wall girts, 7 foot 4 inches for the lower girt seems to be an industry standard, you know. So these things are not different between companies, and I'm sure they do that for multiple reasons. But bottom line is, for the same product, why is the price point so drastically different? And you know, don't be afraid to do it yourself. I mean, that's the other key thing about our property, is we're doing this ourselves. The only thing we have contracted out thus far is that slab, and the only reason we contracted it out is because if you've ever poured cement, and especially something that big, you've got to have a whole crew to do it. We don't have a crew, we don't have the contacts to do that, and it needed to be done, and done quick, and the
right way too.
Yeah, and they absolutely did that, and I'm 100% happy with the job they did. So this video here is going to be video number 1 in the series, and it's just sharing what we're sharing on the process and everything. And video number 2 would be taking delivery of the metal building. That video is already out there. We'll go out and put it on a playlist or something. And then video number 3 would be the slab, and we did a detailed video on how they did the slab. That's one thing I can say I did enjoy, hanging out with the crew as they did the slab and learning. You know, I feel confident that if I had a crew, I could go in and do a slab like this, no problem, based on what I learned from hanging out with them. So that's really cool, because in the future we probably will have some concrete work, and although that's hard work, you never know what we're gonna do ourselves. You know, labor's part of your most expensive thing with everything, so the more you can do yourselves, and you know, just having pride in your work and really enjoying seeing the fruits of your labor, so to speak, that's very rewarding to me. So it's all good. And so then video number 4 will be starting the actual putting up the building. So we'll start with day 1 and work from there. We'll try to keep the videos at reasonable length. We'll share how we did it. And you know, one of the things that was I guess unfortunate, so normally when we try to learn something from scratch, you know, we've never put up a building like this before, or even done construction work, you know, so this was all new to us. And you know, you kind of hope that you can go to YouTube University and go out there and find tons of videos that tell you step by step how to do things and everything. And they're really, when it came to metal buildings, there are tons of videos out there of people putting up metal buildings, but no details. Never shows, you know, this is the step by step how we did it. These were our challenges, these are our lessons learned, these were our mistakes, successes, whatever. It never goes into that level of detail. It just shows them, yeah, we put up a metal building. Well, that's great, but I was looking for help. So that's kind of going to be our goal for these videos, is to share all of that. And that's kind of also why it's taken us so long to even get this far, is we're figuring out, you know, and we're learning the video stuff as we go too. So we wanted to make sure that we produce some content that's worthwhile to other people. And so that's about sharing our experience, how we did it, and all the
fun stuff,
the gory details. So if you took the time to watch this video and listen to what we're saying, thank you. Thank you for sharing our journey with us. If you're new to the channel, you know, please like, subscribe, and follow along. Hit the notification bell so you get notified as we put out the other videos. And please provide comments in the comment block. Go down below and write comments. Let us know what you want to see when it comes to this metal building, so that as we film, I mean, we filmed a lot of it already, but as we edit and we put it together, we try to make sure to include answers to common questions that people may have, because we know what our questions were and everything, and where our struggles were, but we don't know that about everybody. So if you've got questions, if there's certain things that you want to see or know, drop us an email or put it in the comments, whatever you prefer. so that we can make sure that we try to include that in the content. And you know, the end goal, like I say, is really making something that is worthwhile and helpful to other people, so that hopefully if they do the same thing we're doing, it's a little easier on them than it has been on us. Not that it's been bad. I mean, I don't mind a challenge. It's I always love a good challenge. It's what gets you up in the morning. But we still want to share those lessons learned and stuff and help other people make it a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
So as always, thanks for joining us. We're gonna wrap this up.
God bless you. Be safe. Hasta luego, amigos.
We'll see you on the next one.